Guys, I have two big issues right now. For one, I can't think of a FNaF World challenge run idea, and two, I have a crippling gambling problem. Every time I try to quit buying my scratch-off lottery tickets, I always remember that 99.9% of gamblers always quit before they hit it big, so I end up wasting more money. But then I thought, why don't I just use my gambling addiction for the challenge run? In FNaF World, there are a handful of instakill moves. These moves can either instakill an enemy when the right criteria is met, or by using a set probability. Unfortunately, these moves can be incredibly hard to hit consistently, with them especially struggling to kill bosses. Well, my gambling brain believes I can totally hit these odds every single time, so I got to thinking, is it possible to beat FNaF World's hard mode with only instakill attacks? There are 3 rules to this challenge. The first being I can only use these attacks in the run. Unscrew 1 and 2, Waterhose 1 and 2, and Escape Key are the only instakill attacks in the game. Secondly, if I'm using a bite that attacks for me, it has to instakill. So for example, I can't use bites such as the bees or the UFOs. Finally, to spice things up, I am only allowed to use characters that actually have an instakill move. If I didn't include this rule, the challenge would be less interesting because at the start of the game, most of my characters wouldn't do anything except just stand around and take damage for me. With the rules in place, let's begin. When we start the game, we're on the character select screen. We've only got 8 characters at our disposal, so the challenge is already looking pretty grim. You want to know how many characters at the start of the game actually have an instakill move? 1. That's right, Toy Chica is the only character at the start that actually has an instakill move, with her having the move Waterhose. So I select Toy Chica as my only party member, and begin the game. Oh, and by the way, for this challenge, I'm using a modded version of the game. Now, it doesn't actually change the game itself in any significant way. It only just adds quality of life updates, such as allowing me to have a party of less than 8 characters. So I spawn in and do some adventuring until I get into my first battle. Immediately, I ran into a problem. The only move I can use is Waterhose, which only instakills if the enemy has less than 30% of their max health left. And without a way to damage any enemies, my move is absolutely useless and I end up getting a game over on the first fight. Right now, I am a sitting duck in any fight in the game.
Literally.
Sure, I found a head start speed chip and I can buy med pods which heal me, but these only prolong my death. I have absolutely no way of killing any enemies in the game with Toy Chica, let alone any bosses. The challenge seems to have already ended only after just beginning. And I'm being entirely honest here, I have absolutely no way of killing any enemies in the game with Toy Chica. That's a cold hard fact. But what if someone else could kill the enemies for me? Well, to find what I'm looking for, we've got to do some adventuring. At the start of FNaF World, it's actually pretty open. You're able to get all the way to Area 3 before even killing a single boss or enemy. When enemies show up, you can just run away. If you go far enough, you'll be able to find a Lullbit shop in Dusting Fields, and this shop is the key to saving the entire run. In this shop, you can buy Reaper Bites, which all have a chance to instantly kill enemies. These Reapers don't actually do damage, but instead work as an instakill like Unscrew or Escape Key, so they're completely fair game. So I bought one with the money I've found so far, and equipped it. If this shop wasn't possible to get to at the start of the game, the challenge would have been a failure from the moment we spawned in. Things were looking up, but unfortunately, we have another problem. This Reaper really sucks! A lot! Because we could only afford the cheapest one, it takes him forever to kill anything. Most of the time, he's just staring at me with them big ol' eyes, not doing anything.
And stop staring at me with them big old eyes!
Even with my medbot that I bought, I'm only able to tag one enemy while I wait for my Reaper to land the insta-kill. Anything more and I am dead in the water. You know what? Screw you, Reaper! I'm grinding money. In FNaF World, there are chests that spawn along the map with money inside, and if you go to a shop and back out of it, sometimes they'll respawn, which allows you to infinitely obtain money without going into any fights. This is such a mind-numbing grind though, because most of the time, you'll only get a measly 10 coins. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get a 50 coin chest, but it's pretty rare. Thankfully, there's another way to get money, and that's with DD's fishing minigame. Basically, you've got a magnet at the top of the water, and you've got to launch it at the perfect time to grab the pearl at the bottom for 100 coins. It's a really easy minigame to win and grind money on, but once you win it, DD will disappear for a little while, and you have to wait for her to come back. This is all fine and good, except I think DD must have gone on the longest smoke break the world has ever seen because she just would not come back. I waited for her to come back for so long, I even started flipping through the Guinness Book of World Records 2024, and there she was on page 53 smoking her 15th pack of Marlboros. So that meant I just had to keep bumming around the old Fazbear Hills for like an hour picking up pocket change. I became so deranged and desperate for money that I hallucinated that Mr. Beast was in my game and put me in one of his last to leave the red circle videos for $1 million. It was a tough battle of wills staying inside the red circle, but eventually I was the last one inside and I won the money. Except I only realized until winning the cash prize that it was $1 million and not 1 million Faz coins. Mr. Beast's money was useless to me! Useless, Jimmy Beast, you're useless! Getting back on track though, I was finally able to reach 500 coins, which meant I could buy the second Reaper. After I bought it, I decided to name these guys Dumb and Dumber, because now not one Reaper was useless, but 2 of them were useless. My luck must have been absolutely horrible, because fights now took longer with both of them out instead of just one. After struggling for a bit longer, I had made a stunning revelation. That being, if you run from an enemy, you can still run into characters. I ended up running into Balloon Boy, and I think Dumb and Dumber over here actually decided to try for once in their lives because they actually ended up insta-killing him. Unfortunately, Balloon Boy doesn't have any insta-kill moves, so he's pretty useless, but what I think is more important here is the fact that we can actually unlock characters with our current team. At this point in the challenge, my goal became clear. Grind for 2,000 coins to get the last Reaper, and while doing so, try to run into JJ. She has Unscrew, which would finally give us a second party member. And so there I sat, grinding for 2,000 coins. I finally ended up running into JJ! And died. I ran into JJ again! And died again. I died to JJ about 5 times, and I began to think that she was the Terminator and wasn't able to be killed. You guys know that one South Park episode where they all get together to play World of Warcraft? You know, the one where they're forced to stay in the forest killing boars for 7 weeks in order to make enough progress to take on that fat dude killing everyone on the server? This challenge kind of felt like that, except instead of being stuck in the forest killing boars, I'm stuck in Fazbear Hills killing gear rats, and instead of taking on an overpowered player, it's JJ. Finally though, I ran into not JJ, but Phantom Chica, and luckily I was able to actually insta-kill her. I didn't end up unlocking JJ, but Phantom Chica's also got Unscrew, which means I don't have to rely on only my Reapers to kill enemies for me anymore. Unscrew's got a 30% chance to insta-kill any enemy, and it also has a chance to insta-kill bosses as well, but the odds are pretty bad. I'm pretty sure it's about a 1 to 2% chance to unscrew a boss, but then again this Phantom Wiki says it's a 0.003% chance, so I can never be sure. But I like those odds! If my gambling addiction tells me anything, it's that 99.9% of FNaF World players stop unscrewing bosses before they kill them. I'm gonna go kill Auto Chipper.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it.
Oh yeah! So I beat Auto Chipper and got 2 chips behind him. Head Start Strength is pretty useless because I'm only using Instakills, but Head Start Defense is a nice reward. Around this time, Dee Dee finally decided to come back from her smoke break, which meant I was winning 100 coins left and right. Wait, you didn't see that. No, you didn't see that. Wait, stop. No, you didn't. I ended the night finishing my grind for 2,000 coins and finally obtained the last Reaper.
Day 2.
Hey, before I continue with the video, if you've made it this far, please consider liking the video, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps this channel reach more people in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks. On day 2, I really only had one goal. Go to Area 3 and defeat Bouncer to continue making progress. There was just one flaw. My team is really weak. Due to only having 2 characters and only one of them being able to insta-kill, I can get maybe 3 or 4 unscrew attempts in before I game over. My team of 2 just cannot tank that much damage, even with my healing. I even went out of my way to get this pearl that heals you, which you get after winning Dee Dee's fishing minigame 5 times, but it still wasn't enough. Unfortunately, my healing still can't beat out the boss's damage output, which meant I kept dying over and over and over again. It took about 20 minutes, but I finally got lucky and unscrewed Bouncer. After defeating him, I made my way to Lilygear Lake and then Black Tomb Yard, the 5th area in the game. When I got there, I decided to divert from fighting any more bosses and instead went for a different goal. Bouncer already took a while to defeat due to only having 2 characters that can't tank a lot of damage, so I imagine fighting the upcoming bosses would be a nightmare for them. I needed to get more characters so I can tank more damage and get more chances of insta-killing, so I wanted to try and obtain the chip, find characters to boost my odds in finding them. I have been unlocking some characters, but they aren't ones I can use, so I need to get the chip to boost my odds and actually find characters I can use. I went into the Deep Metal Mines in Area 5 to grab the chip. It's located right about here, so first I had to make it there. It took me a couple tries to do so because the enemies in this area hit harder than cracking open a Baja Blast from Taco Bell with the boys on a Friday night. That means they hit pretty hard. When I eventually got to the chip's location, I was greeted to Mad Endo, a boss I didn't know was there who guarded the chip, who proceeded to almost one-shot both of my characters. I'll be honest with you all, obtaining this chip right now is almost impossible. I could get it eventually, but that requires me to firstly not die on the way there, and then when I get to the boss, land the one unscrew attempt I get before my entire party dies. The time it would take to do that just isn't worth it, so now I'm forced to go all the way back to Fazbear Hills where I started the game to grind characters without the chip. Which is gonna take forever. You guys know how long it took me in the challenge to unlock only one character I can use, so getting a full team would take an absurd amount of time. Honestly, I don't want to do this anymore! This entire challenge has just been a cycle of grinding. I'll have to grind for money or a character, which then lets me make a minuscule bit of progress, and then I'm forced back into grinding again. There's gotta be some way I can get someone else to do it for me. I know it's monotonous, but someone out there's gotta be willing to do it. There's gotta be somebody! Think... Brain Blast! So, just hear me out on this, okay? To initiate a battle, I can keep moving up and down on the overworld in place using W and S on my keyboard. When the battle starts, I can keep hitting these keys and nothing happens. I'll be able to win the fight because my Reapers will kill all the enemies, and my party alongside the healing will be able to tank all the enemies' damage. I don't have to attack at all, and I gain XP. If I run into a character, I've already proven that Reapers can kill them, so theoretically I could kill them without inputting any attacks. If I don't run into a character after my battle, I go back to moving on the world map. The only thing that could go wrong with this is if I die somewhere in these fights, and if that happens, I can confirm my team and go back to hitting W and S on the world map. So what I'm trying to say is, to unlock characters and earn experience points, hypothetically, all I need to do is hit W and S over and over on my keyboard, even through the battles themselves. So again, hear me out on this. What if I just got a bot to grind the game for me? Honestly, it sounded pretty stupid when I first thought of the idea. But then in my head, I thought through FNaF World's battle system like we just discussed and realized it wasn't as stupid of an idea as I thought. I went ahead and downloaded TinyTask, which is a piece of software that lets you record and play back keyboard and mouse inputs. I opened FNaF World in the software and started recording my inputs of just hitting W and S over and over on my keyboard. Once I did that for about 30 seconds, I stopped the recording of my inputs, turned on continuous playback, and started playing my inputs over and over. While I let my theory play out, I took a nice relaxing bath. Bye guys, I'm gonna go take a bath now. Have fun. Make sure to watch Freddy Fazbear for me. When I got done, I came back in and checked how it went. Let me see if this thing actually does work. I mean, it's still going. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. I'm gonna check the character screen. I'm gonna see if I got anybody. Yo, it actually works! Oh my god, it actually works. It actually works. That's crazy. Cause I didn't have JJ before. My crazy crackhead theory was right. This actually is gonna work. With this method, I was able to unlock JJ and add a third party member and a second unscrewer to the team. Feeling confident with 3 characters, I thought I could survive the enemies dusting fields had to offer, and started the automated grinding process over again in the area. I did this because the fights there would give me more XP and better odds at running into stronger characters. Now, I know some people may say this method of grinding is cheating, but I'd argue it isn't considering I'm only playing a recording of my inputs, not a bot's inputs. It would be different if I coded an AI to play the game for me, but these are still my exact inputs I performed. This isn't really important to the challenge itself, but while I let my recorded inputs grind experience and characters for me, I played Persona 3 Reload on my PlayStation. My inputs didn't grind the game for me as long as I wanted them to. The only reason why they didn't is because while playing Persona 3, my chair snapped in half, and I fell on the ground. When I got back up, I checked out my game and noticed I had acquired some new characters. The only 3 characters that were important though were Phantom Foxy, Withered Freddy, and Withered Bonnie. Phantom Foxy has Unscrew, Withered Freddy has Escape Key, and most importantly, Withered Bonnie is one of 2 characters that has Unscrew too. This move has a 50% chance to unscrew any enemy instead of regular Unscrew's 30% chance. I think the odds might also be a little better on bosses compared to Unscrew's 1 to 2% chance, but I may be wrong. With an almost full team of instakillers, I could finally take on tougher foes. So the first thing I did was take my booty all the way over to Mad Endo again to see if I could finally get the Fine Characters ship. I was able to tank more hits and I had more opportunities to insta-kill him, but my first team still fell pretty quickly. With Toy Chica as useless as ever, it was up to JJ to land the Unscrew. Oh my god, she actually got him! No way, I first tried that! Let's go! Finally! Finally I got this chip, thank you. My strategy's actually been working. Setting up the bot to grind for me, and then I'm able to do this first try. Everything is actually just going my way. Yeah, a new challenger. Everything is going so well, and this is what I need. This is one with an insta-kill. Everything's just going my way! After unlocking the marionette and adding them to my team, I went to the Pinwheel Circus. After arriving there, I decided to grind for 3 last chips. These chips were gonna come in handy for the rest of the game, especially for later bosses like the Security Owl and Scott. The first chip I wanted to go for was Auto Gift Boxes, which gives your party members an extra life if they're out. Since we can't use any moves that aren't insta-kills, equipping chips that act like moves I want to use is a big help. I figured out that the chip was located in the mines of Dusting Fields, so I walked over there and...
I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated. So, you're the punk I've heard about.
So, apparently, bosses can respawn when you reopen the game. That means I've got to insta-kill this snowman again. And for what should have only taken a couple attempts to do, especially with this almost full team of 7 compared to my team of 2 from before, this jolly little snowman just wouldn't die. I died over and over and over, and I became convinced that I wasn't able to insta-kill bosses anymore. Honestly. It got so bad that I tested my insta-kill on an auto chipper. I was able to kill it, but I still couldn't kill the snowman. I am not kidding with you. It took me almost 30 minutes of attempts to kill this guy. Way more than before. But finally, I did it. I went into the caves to get the Auto Gift Boxes chip and was greeted by the boss guarding it, Eyesore. It was a long and tough fight, but eventually, my entire party unfortunately died. So I went back to fight the boss and...
I am in no mood!
Remember when I said bosses can respawn when you reopen the game? Yeah, I don't know if that's true, because I made that up. Overworld bosses respawn every single time you die. So I'm not going for that chip right now. Instead, I'm going for the 2 that are significantly easier to obtain. I went ahead and clicked into the glitchy world of the game that puts you above the original map and walked towards the mines where I tried to get auto gift boxes. Above the area, there's the second chip I was going for, Auto Mimic. Basically, if you equip it, a little mimic dude shows up for you who mimics most of your attacks. So for example, if I'm using Withered Bonnie and try Unscrew 2, right after the attack finishes, the Mimic Ball will activate and try the same attack again with the same success odds. This chip helps with getting more insta-kill attempts in, so I'm more likely to kill any enemies or bosses I run into. The third chip I went for was Auto Shield, which was also in the glitch world, but now I had to go to Lilygear Lake. This chip serves 2 main functions, but the only one you need to know about right now is that it blocks or reduces damage from enemies. It's a surprise tool that will help us later. With 2 out of the 3 chips in hand, I went back to try and get auto gift boxes. And let me tell you, I absolutely destroyed both bosses on my first attempt. It was not even close. I had obtained auto gift boxes, which finally completes the holy trinity of chips that I need for the rest of the run. While walking back to fight the boss in the Pinwheel Circus, I ran into Nightmare Foxy and defeated him, who would finally allow me to have a full team of 8 characters. He's just as important as Withered Bonnie is to the team, as he's the only other character in the game with Unscrew 2. Thanks to Unscrew 2, I was able to kill the boss of Pinwheel Circus, Brow Boy. I continued making progress in the game, going into the Pinwheel Funhouse, totally not looking up a guide on how to get out of the Pinwheel Funhouse because the Pinwheel Funhouse can suck my balls, and ran into the next boss, Bubba. This boss was really annoying because I didn't know that he had Jump Scare, which rendered my team frozen and useless when he used it. But now that I knew that he had Jump Scare, I equipped a block Jump Scare chip I got near the start of the playthrough, and defeated him on my second try. I then encountered Pork Patch, who guards the key needed to start unlocking the switches to defeat Security Owl, and everyone on my team proceeded to get one-tapped, and I got a game over. My team at this point were all around level 20 from grinding, and I had a shield up, but each team member still died in one hit. I was gonna need one last thing to bring home the victory on these next fights, so I turned to Mendo Endo's upgrade shop. He sells upgrades to your entire party's defense, and I was aiming to get the best upgrade, the Titanium Endoskeleton. The issue is that Mendo Endo is a greedy little because the Titanium Endoskeleton is $9,000. So naturally, I did what I knew best. I opened up Tiny Task and grinded battles so I could obtain enough Faz coins to eventually reach 9,000. Before I was even able to set up Tiny Task though, I encountered Shadow Freddy, whose entire moveset is only instakills. So I defeated him and put him on the team, and retired Toy Chica for good. You are good for tanking damage, Toy Chica, and... Oh wait, no, that's it, yeah, that's all you were good for. You kinda sucked. So for the next, I don't know, 3 hours, I set up the bot to grind money while I watched YouTube on my phone. By the end of my grinding, I ended up getting over 10,000 Faz coins, so once I got back, I went to Mendo Endo's upgrade shop and bought the Endoskeleton, which buffed my defense from plus 20 to plus 100. Now, I took on Pork Patch, and hey, now instead of getting 1-tapped, I get 2-tapped! Right now, I feel like one of those Terraria players who spends an absurd amount of money on reforges just to get marginally better stats. And yeah, I'm one of those players, this is just my footage, sorry. I was luckily able to unscrew him this time though, which left me with only the tasks of defeating 3 more bosses, unlocking all of Security Owl's switches, beating Security Owl, and finally, defeating Scott himself. Firstly, I went to Freddy Fazbear Hills, my old stomping grounds, to activate the first switch. Next, I went for the security switch in Lily Gear Lake, which was guarded by Super Goon, whose name Gen Alpha is absolutely having a field day with right now. I figured out in this fight, though, that my Reapers can actually kill bosses. This is the first time this has happened, though, so the odds must be really bad. Next, I went for the switch in the Deep Metal Mine, which was guarded by Overclock, who decided, I'm not like the other bosses, and spawned on the top left of the screen. Mimic Ball got the Unscrew kill on him, and I unlocked his switch. Finally, I went for the switch in Dusting Fields, guarded by... Apparently, this guy isn't called Bouncer, it's Snow Cone. But I know what you are. Nightmare Foxy got the unscrew on this butt munch, and I activated the final switch. Now, I was just left with defeating Security Owl and Scott. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how the chip auto shield was gonna help out later, and this is where it comes in handy. Basically, Security Owl's got this attack called Alarm, and if you don't have a neon wall up, your party will die a horrible death. You're supposed to use Endo 2 or Endo Plush to put up one of these neon walls, but surprisingly, Auto Shield serves the same exact function, except it lasts forever. Thanks to this shield, I was able to block its insta-killing attack, and Withered Bonnie got the unscrew. Now, it's just me and Scott himself in the final battle of hard mode. We put so much time into the save file at this point, and it's not going to waste now. We went through so much to get to this point, and this battle is going to be one for the history books. I'm going to play it in full, so you really get the full experience of this historic conclusion to this climactic tale. One of these unscrews, it's gonna hit, dude. It's gonna hit you. That was the third one?! I killed him with the third unscrew?! Oh my god! I killed him with the third unscrew. Oh my god. Apparently, Scott Cawthon is made of twigs, paper clips, and a dream because he died on the third unscrew. He died faster than any other boss I fought in this entire game, and he's the final one. With that, it's safe to say that the journey was over, and I proved that FNaF World's hard mode is possible to complete while only using insta-kill attacks. Thank you guys so much if you made it all the way through this video. I appreciate it a lot. This took a long time to fully record and edit, but god, I don't know what to do with myself now. We've been through so much together, and now it's over. If only there was a way to celebrate our accomplishment. Wait a second. What's that I hear in the distance? Oh my god! I left Persona 3 on and I never turned it off! Dude! I think I hear a song coming on!